Bea is one of the few people I've met where you can really honestly say that you've never met anyone quite like them. From her unique sense of humor to her world context to everything, to the way that she cared and loved and treated her whole family. That she had a truly unique personality that really drew you to her as a person and really inspired you to go outside of your comfort zone and to try new things and to be adventurous in a way that you wouldn't without being inspired by her.
My favorite memory of Bea would have to be, over the course of a meal, usually dinner, sitting at the dinner table with her and hearing her unique, always outspoken view on the world, which was always eye-opening and always great to hear her perspective. She always stuck to her gut and wasn't afraid to share it, and it's something that I really admired about her and found very, very interesting, and always going to be a great memory for me.
The last time that I saw Bea was over Christmas break in Chicago. After lunch, Bea was so excited to give me some jewelry and a scarf from her large collection. She spent so much time showing me options and variations of her jewelry, and it meant so much to see how much she cared and was interested in trying to match my style. I don't wear a ton of jewelry, but those few pieces that I got are some of my favorite pieces to wear. This instance is how I remember Bea being for my whole life. She was always so generous and involved with all the grandchildren, and I will forever be grateful for that.
So many memories and feelings are evoked when I think of Bea. When I was young, she sang Brazilian songs while tucking me into bed. She designed my room with a chalkboard where my imagination ran free while I prepared for my future as a teacher. She placed cool washcloths on my fevered forehead when I had scarlet fever. She showed me how to care for those less fortunate than I. She taught me not to be wasteful. She inspired me to love art, and she taught me to iron. I have been blessed with opportunities. Bea taught me how to recognize and use those opportunities to impact the world in positive ways. She challenged us every day to be our best. Many of the parts of me that I'm most proud of are the product of Bea's influence. Even though there were times when I feared Bea would find my belly too fat or my house too dirty, I knew she led from a place of love. Her love is what I will remember. She'll live on and continue to impact the world because her voice in my head continues to inspire me to care for others as she did.
Oh, Bea. What to say about Bea? I can only think of the lyrics of the girl from Ipanema. Tall and tan and young and lovely, the woman from Ipanema went walking, and once she passes, each one she passes goes, ah. Bea walked in beauty, elegance, and grace, and when she spoke, each one she spoke to went, ah. Bea was gracious, offering wisdom to all she met, and when she spoke, each one she spoke to went, ah. Oh, how she loved, and each one she loved left saying, ah. So she touched us all, and when she passed, each one she touched said, ah. Now that's a woman.
I loved hearing her voice, the guttural laugh, especially when she was talking about her country and the apartments in Rio and Chicago, the things she put together and how perfect they are. And I'm reminded of this gorgeous woman who was so generous that I couldn't even compliment her on a necklace or a scarf without having her take it off and insist that I keep it. And if I mentioned a sore back, she sent me books about how to relieve the pain, all the while she herself was struggling with pain. Of course, you wouldn't have known it from the way she looked. One of the biggest joys since Bea and Roger moved into 880 was our surprise meetings at the elevator, which invariably led to dinner together. The last time they had just returned and we were on our way out, so dinner would have to wait until the spring when we would both be back in town. And then we kissed goodbye.
I close my eyes and I see Bea. I see a smile that lights up a room and makes me smile. When I think about Bea, I hear music, rhythms you gotta dance to. And I hear laughter, Bea's distinctive laugh, sexy and deep, beautiful and warm, like a magnet you just want to be around her. Bea personified beauty and brought such complete happiness to Roger and their family.
Bea had more or less an unlimited amount of savoir-faire. As Roger's mom said, Bea's avec. She was always with it.
Bea, this is for you. I want you to know how much I appreciated all your words of wisdom, your depth of intelligence, your sense of style and beauty and sophistication. All of it inspired me and gave me just a little bit more courage to face the day. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Upon meeting my future mother-in-law for the very first time, and once alone, I knew I was in for a prickly but honest ride when Bea proposed 2 questions to me. Number 1, can you make any money at what you do? And number 2, why do all the people in California wear jogging suits everywhere and all the time? I had never met anyone quite like Bea, but I knew from the start, get ready, for no question was off limits to her. I love you, Bea. Rest in peace. And can you give my brother Billy a hug? He will love your questions.
I remember it vividly. It was a perfect summer day when I met my stepmother. I was lying on the grass eating raisins when Bea sat down next to me. She took some raisins out of the red box and laid them down, and we studied them, the lines, the texture, and a spell was cast. She asked with an accent foreign to me, "Do you know how a raisin becomes a raisin?" The first of hundreds of questions to me that started out the same way. Do you know how? Do you know why? She seemed to know so much. On that sunny day, I was offered an invitation to the world through her passionate and inquisitive, bombastic and critical eyes. She cared that I cared about the world and how it worked. Beyond measure, she influences my thinking and will reside in my head and my heart forever.
Well, here's the thing. I've had Bea's voice in my head since, I would say the early 1960s. So she's always been talking to me. I think about her all the time, especially lately. But I know that she has taken up a spot there in my brain, and that I will always hear her. And this is the way we live on in each other's lives.
Dear Bea, most memorable Bea, beautiful, unique, wise, vastly creative, a people-connecting person, diligent, courageous, energizing, fun-loving, interested, and interesting. We have heard it said that the death of a person is equivalent to the burning of a library. Surely, an extensive library has been burned with the passing of beloved Bea.
Hi, this is Jennifer. My favorite memory of Bea takes place almost every Christmas morning as I was growing up. Each Christmas day, Elizabeth Brent and I would open up these teeny tiny string bikinis from her. I remember mine was always teal, and each year, as we got older and older, these bikinis would get smaller and smaller and smaller, and it was always a riot trying to find out which string went where. I love Bea very, very much and will miss her tremendously.
My grandmother, one of my greatest role models, one of my most credible sources for anything life. With your stories and viewpoints, you've given me endless nuggets of wisdom and astute examples of how to examine what is happening in the world around me. Thank you for teaching me how to take criticism with stride and embrace my beauty with pride. Thank you for exposing me to a Brazilian culture that is as vibrant as you are. Thank you for teaching me to be curious. I've certainly adopted much of my love for travel, food, and exploration from you. I love your humor and your contagious laugh, your compassion and your strength. I love you, Bea, and I will miss you. Your granddaughter, Madeline.
Our trips to the desert are among my favorite memories with Bea. We had fabulous meals, lots of laughs, and yes, some controversial conversations during dinner. On the first night of my last visit with her, just before she passed, she had Betsy prepare my favorite shrimp dish. Bea was such a huge influence on my children, affirming them and instilling in them a love and appreciation for Brazilian culture. She gave them so much love and shared so many life lessons, even inspiring Jasmine to spend a year at a study abroad program in Brazil at the University of Rio Grande do Sul. Bea made an indelible mark on the lives of my girls. She touched my heart by touching theirs.
I think if there's one thing we can all agree on, it was that Bea was one of a kind. She was a true character. She brought a certain spunk to our family, and she'll never be forgotten. She'll always be missed, and I will always love her.
One of my favorite memories with her was when I was probably 10 and she was visiting us in Tampa. One night she came and she lied down with me and she started talking about Brazil. And it was the first time that I really realized that there are different places and that she was from a different place. And she told me about a place where in certain parts the roads aren't paved and people don't have things but they're happy. And I was really blessed to go and discover things like that because of her.
Bea changed my life in so many ways and almost immediately. We were 5 children descending on her from the bubble of the North Shore, adding to 2 of her own. 7 kids, and she was just 26 years old. It took only minutes for me to realize that this stepmother wasn't going through the motions. Bea appropriated me from the First Presbyterian Church of Winnetka to Reverend Jesse Jackson's Operation Breadbasket on the South Side. She transitioned me from the Nutcracker Suite to the naked cast of Hair, yanking me on stage at the end. In the blink of an eye, we went from Mary Poppins to Easy Rider. She turned off the TV and we talked. The dinner table was transformed from a place I rushed away from to a place where something stimulating was likely to happen, whether it was a new taste from Pastora or a wacky story being told by Bea. I'll never, ever forget my first trip abroad with Bea, where in Machu Picchu, she tutored Tony, Chica, and me on the intricacies of what seemed like every stone in the place and the poor Incas who had to schlep them up that hill. And somehow, among the ruins, Bea still managed to be chic without being overdressed. It was on that trip that I learned that real traveling is a contact sport. No observing from afar with Bea. Get in there with people. Try to walk in their shoes. Mix it up. Engage. Bea had an uncommon boldness that could offend and provoke admiration in the same moment. She was equally comfortable haggling for seafood in third world countries or negotiating a pearl deal at the corporate level. To this day, there are times when I find myself being too passive and a not-so-little voice inside my head squeals, "Get in there and get what you want." I will miss that sharp tongue, whose cut often wounded, but evermore that huge smile and embrace that would warm me to the core.
Bea, the cosmic swan who dove into all of our lives. After a sip of Dewar's and some La Tache wine, Bea's many bands on America flowed. "Ah, Roger, Richie, you spend way too much money. You'll go broke. We should all move to Guatemala and live on pennies. Our 10 fashion tycoon also said, "What? A U.S. bikini? No, never. Only buy my string made in Rio. And also, pearls in America? Please. The best are from China. Here, let me show you a $12,000 strand. A bargain. Charlene, don't let anyone touch your face in the Big Apple. The only plastic surgery is in Brazil. Picangi. Now it's face wiring." We were spellbound by Bea's absolute philosophies in her hypnotic, magical, melodious voice and her energetic, ever-present, lilting laughter. Now I ask why we all didn't act on everything this brilliant friend said. She was always right.
Bea was the world's best salesperson. She would have excelled regardless of what she was selling. It could have been houses, home furnishings, appliances, automobiles, or as she eventually ended up, jewelry. Sean always looked forward to Bea's new arrivals from China. If Bea was coming for dinner, she was not shy about bringing her new collection. She was able to personalize and was very, very convincing. Where she really excelled was modeling her own jewelry, and she would sell a bracelet from her wrist, she would take off a necklace and sell it, she would do a pin, and I'm always convinced that if I had offered the right price, she would have even sold her dress.
Bea, when you would talk to me, not only would you be completely honest about what you thought of everything, which was incredibly refreshing, but you would treat me like an adult even when I was 2 or 3. You would really take stock of my ideas and talk to me about things that I was interested in. And I love you and I'll miss you.
Bea taught me how to dress. All kinds of things about hair and about where to be hairless. About the art of using a shower wedgie, about the art of folding clothes, towels, sheets, socks, underwear, about the art of not settling for the table offered in the restaurant, the room offered in a hotel. There's something better out there and we're going to find it. And then there's the issue of beauty. Beauty in furniture, floors, walls, rugs, bedding, stone, brick, wood, poured concrete, lighting, ceiling fans, glass, platters, pearls, clothing, the multitude of masterpieces among the things of everyday life. And then there were the deeper teachings, the more profound lessons, the Bea Dharma, so to speak. You must be thin, for God's sakes. Make sure your teeth are in order and groom your feet. The money Dharma. Get rich and stay that way and shop at Target, Marshall's, and Costco. And the life Dharma. Don't take grief from anyone. Eat and drink a lot and laugh and laugh and laugh.